This is our Forex blog for June 26, 2015. Our Forex trading systems are coming along unbelievably well. I'm starting to really get excited about the progress and the results. I'm just going to showcase how they did. Here's the euro dollar. We'll just go back a couple days. You can some of the stats don't work if you did, or stats don't work a couple days back. So some of the trades that would have showed up this day don't show up past 2 days back. But you can see there was one trade on Wednesday, and Thursday got this nice little mini W pattern, mini double top right here for a huge win. And our statistical tools did a great job of nailing the low. Then we got in on a pullback trade right here. You can see after this explosive move up, the market pulled back and hit a 62% retracement Fibonacci area right here, and it was good for 10 or 15 pips. Friday was just an outstanding day. Here's the Australian dollar. That has pretty much a break even here, and once it breaks out and makes a new low for the day, typically if that's right where the last swing low is, it tends to be a high probability trade, and this one was good for about 50 pips. Then we bought the bottom, and we wouldn't count these in our stats for the week because it's still technically in the trade, but if you were trading manually, you would just exit that. Here's the dollar Swiss. You see yesterday it had a tiny trade here, another wonderful trade at the bottom, which probably was a Fibonacci profit target level, and maybe one or two other support resistance areas. And then on Friday, it had a really narrow range. And this is what I used to teach when I did classes every day for 5 or 6 years, teaching people how to trade. Anytime you have a rectangle pattern for 3 to 6 hours, and this one was much longer than 6 hours, breakouts tend to be profitable, and this one went about 20-25 pips down. Did not find the low in this particular instance. The market went explosively up, and then it came down and did a double bottom, and we caught that. And I also did a double top after a two-wave up pullback. And the momentum, our momentum tools are saying it wasn't very strong. So when we see double tops, when there's not that much strength, we sell them. And when we see double bottoms, when there's not much weakness, we tend to buy them because that trade tends to work just in and of itself. And when you add our statistical tools, it does even better. Here's the pound yen. This one did extremely well on Friday. Double top, good for probably about 35 pips, and then it bought the bottom and it was good for about 30-something pips. We have another double top right at, anytime you have a move down where the previous high is not able to close above the 62% retracement, it tends to be a high probability trade when you get a double top there. And so that's probably why the system took that trade. And I'm just showing one day as well. I'll quickly show you the stats. Here is a small loss. Then we get in on this pullback. And one of the reasons for success is you can't even see it on the charts. All of our statistical tools, and it's also looking inside each longer time frame bar and seeing where most people have positions. Like in this instance, I put on the 4-hour. It will show you where most traders have positions during the previous 4-hour period. That's this yellow line. Every 4 hours that updates. And the red and the green is where it spent 68% of its trading time during the previous 4 hours. So the previous 4 hours was from here down to here. You can see it spent most of its time right here, which is why the yellow line is right there. This is pretty much the low of the previous 4-hour period, and that's where it found support. When you have a strong trend up like this, and the market makes a very likely Fibonacci-based pullback right to one of these value area levels, it tends to be very high probability. And we don't catch all of them. As you can see right here, it acted as support, huge move up. You bought right here, you at the very least would have got out at break even. If you bought this little, if you were manually trading using these tools, you'd clearly see a little wedge pattern, and you can see you could have got into this and out with a maximum of 25 pips or even 15 if you waited for it, any kind of trailing stop. You would have made 10 or 12, 15 pips on that trade as well. Our system's not going to catch every single one, even though there is over 2,100 different patterns in the system right now. These stats I keep at the end of the day. Each day I add 3 to 8 new patterns. I fix on good days 1 or 2 of the older patterns that tend to not statistically be profitable, and so on bad days I fix 5 or 6 trades. So this is at the end of the day. Some of these are new trades. Some of the losers that I fixed are not on here, so keep that in mind. 380 pips, 83% winning, 26 pip average win, 5 pip average loss. A good system is anywhere from 45 to 55% winning with 2 times bigger win than loss. You can make money with a system that's 40, 45% if you have much bigger wins than losses. And so that's what I'm shooting for. So obviously I'm very happy with the results. Again, these are not real trading results because some of these patterns I just added to stay, so I didn't make money with them with my real account. And some of the trades that were losers I fix, and so they don't show up on here. One of the things I do in my trading system is if I have a series of losses, I start to trade a little bit bigger because I know our systems look for trades that have 2 to 5 times bigger wins than losses, and 1 win can wipe out 2 and 3 small losses. I try to keep my average loss 6 to 8 pips or less. So on Thursday, netted 433 pips, also very high win percentage, but look at how small the losses are compared to the wins. That's the key right here. If you have 4 or 5 losses in a row, you know, 1 good trade can wipe those out. And if you have 30% more size or bigger position when you catch these 24.4 pips, you know, if you have 50% more on this trade than you had in the losers, you would have about 36 pips compared to, you can see 4 pips, 4, 3, 0.6, and so forth. Previous day, 64% winning, not as high. There was more losses this day. If a pattern tends to work, and in the past, I won't add any additional rules to it. So these patterns, even though they both lost here, they tend to work in the past, and therefore I didn't put any additional rules on them. You can see this one right here, 3174W for weekly, made 26 pips that day. So I'm very hesitant to fix patterns that tend to have huge wins. So here's Tuesday, 366 pips, another big winning percentage day. And again, big wins to losses. This is Monday and Sunday, 292 pips, 65% winning. And again, 4 times, almost a little less than 4 times bigger wins than losses. And even if you get rid of some of the biggest the wins on here, and let's just start right here and go down to the bottom and ignore the top 5 or 6 biggest wins, you can see it's still 8.2 pip losses. So if you look at our losses here, average 4.68. If you take out some of the smaller losses, it still averages a 7.68, just ignoring some of the smaller losses. So if you, and that's one of the reasons why I get a little bit more aggressive when I'm personally trading my own accounts. And here's last week's. I started to do a blog and got busy last weekend and didn't finish it, didn't upload it. So this is Friday. This last week was better than the week before, as you can see. Good winning percentage and a good win-loss ratio. I spend a ton of my time. This was one of the best days in the last 2 weeks, 554 pips. And, you know, the average losses were a little higher. But again, if a trade does well in the past, I'm not going to usually make any changes to it. So it's going to show up here as a loss. Any trade that has a lot of losers in the past and it keeps showing up with more losers than wins, I tend to put in rules and I get rid of it. And so of the 2,100 patterns, it's surprising that on any given day, I usually only will fix a few patterns.